All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ocean. Thank you for being here. Welcome to another Sunday Live. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. And of course, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We are doing our usual Sunday Live from the Negril Beach and got a few articles to go through that I'm excited to share with everybody. Very Negril centric stream, at least to start here. And there I am. Hello. And we will actually have some kind of cool pictures to share that a guest literally just shared with me about travelers from back in the day, which I thought was very cool. And I just took some other photos of the property of like just now, so everybody can see the difference between now and back then. So I'm just getting them loaded into the program here. But it's a very beautiful day here in the grill. Little bit of overcast. I wouldn't say overcast. I would say it was a few clouds in the sky. You know, nothing to complain about at all. But the weather is really, really nice. We had, yeah, it's been raining pretty regularly. But I don't think, did it rain yesterday? I don't think so. At least I don't remember it raining yesterday. And today is gorgeous day. Very, very beautiful day. As you can see, everybody kind of chilling, enjoying the beach. Afternoon, Chelsea. Welcome to the live stream. And of course, I love hearing from you all and finding out where you all are from. So if you could just go ahead and throw in the comments where you're chiming in from, I would definitely appreciate that. Just so we can know where we all are chiming in from. Love Tassie, hello. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hopping on. Hey, Donna. Afternoon. Happy Mother's Day to you all as well. Jeff, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hopping on. So I am just trying to upload some pictures here. Actually, I don't think it's going to work, so we're going to go without them. Anyway, let's get into the agenda for today. We've got a nice little pan, kind of give you an idea of what the vibe out here is like. Super chill Sunday. Probably got a lot of mothers coming in a little bit later here at Travelers to celebrate Mother's Day and celebrate Mother's Day weekend. But I only have short agenda today. Got 2 articles. So, of course, that gives us an opportunity to chat a little bit more. And, of course, any questions you all have, I am always happy to answer them as best as I possibly can. Tia Jones chiming in from Brooklyn. Welcome. Ooh, sorry. Mount Vernon. Brooklyn Rays, welcome. Andrew chiming in from London. Good night, man. Thank you for hopping on. Meta coming in from Miami. Thank you, Basil. Memphis, Tennessee. Awesome. It's Jones. Thanks for coming in. Peter Gay chiming in from Ochi. Thanks. Jeff says he enjoyed the real estate video. Awesome. Awesome. We have another one coming out this week and also a pod coming out this week, which I'm excited to share. Donna's in from Ottawa. Welcome. Yes. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Gina chiming in from Queens. Nice. Awesome. Basil from the UK. Seasoned drummer chiming in from Little Bay Country Club on holiday from London. Awesome. Just down the beach here. All right. Okay. So let's get the keep the comments coming in. Let me know where everybody's chiming in from. But let's hop into the first article that we have here. I'll pop it up. So this article is entitled 7 Miles Still a Big Hit in Negril, but Access to Public Beaches in St. James, a Continuous Struggle. So there's, I guess, a lot I have to say on this in general. But there's me, and let me put up the article. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the article in the comment section as usual. And you can read along, and I will also read for you, for everybody. We'll switch to that beach picture, and we'll throw on that pip. And here we go. So this article was in the Jamaican Gleaner this morning, 12 midnight this morning, pretty much. And it was written by, who is it written by? Mark Titus, it looks like. Okay, let's hop into it. While Jamaicans continue to enjoy full access to the popular 7 Mile Beach in Negril, vendors claim reports have been circulating about a plan to stop them from selling on the popular waterfront by next year. Side note, I do not know that to be true. Have never heard of that at all, but we'll hop into that in a sec. But President of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Richard Wallace, has denied the claims, even as he appeals for all stakeholders to play their part in protecting the popular destination. I'm not aware of any such plans. That is news to me. Wallace said on Friday, Jamaicans have a right to the beach, and based on what I'm seeing, it's open access for everyone, including a lot of undesirables. The 7 Mile stretch, which spans the parishes of Westmoreland and Hanover, boasts an array of the world's finest in hospitality, as well as raft of bed and breakfast operations along the picturesque coastline. But Cameron Dyer, a third-generation vendor who sells handicraft items in the vicinity of the all-inclusive properties in an area called Bloody Bay, says the rumor has caused anxiety among sellers. We heard that we will have to leave the area soon, but we strongly object to any move to get us off the beach because this is our bread and butter for many generations, he told the Sunday Gleaner. Selling on the Negril Beach started from my grandparents, and it schooled all of us. This is where I spent my days as a child, Dyer added. Our greatest fear in Negril is that we will soon be like Montego Bay, that no longer has a beach for the people and for the public the public is suffering. Harmony Beach Park is a welcome addition to Montego Bay St. James landscape. The facility was developed at a cost of $1.3 billion. Among the amenities of the 16-acre park are 132 parking spaces, restroom facilities, child's play areas, a jogging trail, a promenade along the beach, a multi-purpose court, and a designated beach volleyball area. Access to the facility is free, but is only open to the public from Wednesday to Sunday. The public is charged for parking as well as chairs and umbrellas. Only option. Harmony Beach Park is a good look for the city, but it should be that the public comes to use the beach when they want to. Montego Bay resident and educator Cecile Martin told the Sunday Gleaner. Our only option is Dead End Beach, which is inadequate, and the parish council did the people of St. James an injustice when they sold Cornwall Beach. The Cornwall Beach facility was controversially leased to the Cameron All-Inclusive Hotel and Resorts in 2015. At the time, chairman of the St. James Council, Glendon Harris, said the public would still have paid access to the facility. When the Sunday Gleaner team visited the location last week, there was a sign advising of the cost to access the beach, but the security on duty said no such arrangement exists. Acting mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, said the Cornwall Beach deal took place before his time, but Harris, one of the signatories to the 36-year lease agreement, said that refusing the public entry to the facility is a breach of the contract. The vulgarity of the taking over of Cornwall Beach was an embarrassment for the People's National Party government. People in my age group would have a historical connection to Cornwall Beach, so the leasing of the facility to big guys is still a serious concern. Popular social commentator and community activist Dave Allen said yesterday. However, Harris maintains that the deal has long-term benefits for the residents of St. James. After the life of the contract, the hotel will be owned by the people of St. James. So yes, it is a good deal, but if the public is not being allowed, and that is a breach of the contract because that was a part of the deal we signed, the former mayor insisted. And that's the end of the article. Let's hop back over to the comments. All right. Yeah, I have a few thoughts on that article, but we will hop into the comments real quick. Sukanya, hello. Chelsea chiming in from Florida. CC from London, hello. Synthwave, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining. Welcome. Hey, Sharon chiming in from the UK. Ocean from Ottawa. Missy, what's up? Thanks for joining. Please tell the boys I said hello. Okay, so with the article, as Mr. Wallace stated, there was some concern by the beach vendors here in Negril that there were plans to basically get rid of them and move them off the beach. But as he stated that there is no such plans, I've never heard of anything like that happening. My opinion, I do think that there is a place for beach vendors here in Negril, and I do think they play a pivotal role in the experience on the beach. But then, as Mr. Wallace said, that there are undesirables, if you will, that are part of that group as well. And sometimes, the good have to suffer for the bad, unfortunately, and they get kind of pulled into that kind of reputation of being a bother, being an annoyance, and basically harassing people to sell their wares. But I would say overall, I'd like to think at least overall, I think most of the beach vendors here are good people and they're professional in their demeanor and in their approach to customers. Granted, we're just coming out of COVID. Maybe things will get worse, so to speak. But for now, in my opinion, and what I've been seeing, and obviously we're here every Sunday, but it's kind of been cool down here in the south part of the beach in terms of the harassment factor. It's like the same people every day, and I feel like there's I would say a certain level of respect for the visitors that we have here, and especially the people who've been doing this a very long time. They know not to cross certain lines. They know actually how to approach people, and when somebody says no, they don't want anything, they kind of move on. I think when the annoyance or harassment factor does come into play is more than likely when there are just too many, right? You're constantly saying no as somebody who comes here. But again, I haven't really seen that, and I haven't really gotten any feedback to say otherwise. And so this is obviously the southern part of the beach that I'm talking about. In the article, it was referencing Bloody Bay. So here, this is if you would see at the tip there. So let me see if I could turn this. All right. So basically what you're seeing right now, this whole strip, this is Long Bay. And when you go to the tip where the island is, or adjacent from the island, when you go around there, that is around that tip, that is considered Bloody Bay. So this is where the article is referring to. When you go around that tip, that's Bloody Bay. So that is where the majority of the all-inclusive rooms and all-inclusive hotels are. And that is where the article is referring to in terms of the vendors being scared that they're going to be kicked off the beach, because there's only, as far as I can remember, that I know of, there is an access to Bloody Bay publicly, down like a fenced off gated place. I believe you still have access there, and I believe that's where the vendor's going. So that is actually, again, Bloody Bay is 2 miles. So right here again where we are now is Long Bay. This is 5 miles. So this is where you have the small hotels like Travelers, Shirella Inn, Treehouse, Shields. This is what the majority of Negril is made up of in terms of property ownership, is small hotels on Long Bay, on the 5 mile strip. Again, going around to Bloody Bay, it's a little bit more controlled because it is a series of all inclusives. And maybe maybe they do have plans. Again, I don't know anything or haven't heard anything as far as plans to get rid of or regulate vendors in any new way. It coming, and you heard that directly from the Negril Chamber of Commerce president. And so, I hope that quells some anxiety from these vendors, because like he said, he's a multi-generational vendor on this beach, and I don't think that would be a good idea to kick off somebody like him. I don't know who he is and what he sells, or I presume that he's doing it legitimately and has a beach vendor's license as well. I do think there needs to be more regulation on the troublemakers, so to speak, the ones who are harassing people and selling illegal stuff. That's a whole nother conversation that we can have some other time. But as far, I would say my number one concern is the harassment aspect. It's just like, man, if somebody doesn't want something, it's just like, just take no for an answer, and be respectful, like, all around, especially if they're being respectful to you. That's where I would say would be my concern. And again, down here, southern part here, travelers, thankfully, like, at least in recent times, I haven't heard any feedback saying that we've had any issues or any big issues with any particular vendor. And I'm sure there are instances that I don't know about that are happening, but it's not to a point where, like, this is like a big deal like it was before. Like, years ago, pre-pandemic, it was pretty bad. Like I said, it was pretty bad. So fingers crossed that no longer is the case. All right, let me hop into the comments here. Justin, thank you so much, man. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to do that, but thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it to the max. I will definitely keep up the good work and continue doing the best I possibly can. All right, Mark chiming in from Brompton, Ontario. Welcome. Getty says, sweet Mother's Day blessings to all the mamas. Yes, happy Mother's Day to everybody. Donna says, there's a terrible individual who roams the 7 Mile Beach who goes by the name of Ringman, who abuses dogs, owns on the beach, needs to be removed. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, there was actually an article written on him about if it's the same guy that you're referring to, I don't know his name, but there was actually an article written about him, about abusing dogs. I haven't seen him in a while, to be honest, and I haven't seen him on the beach. I haven't seen him with any dogs or anything like that. So I hope that was or has been taken care of. God, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, nice view. Thank you, Justin. Ingrid, how you doing? Throb, do I have it correctly that visitors to the island no longer need a negative COVID test upon arrival? That's right. So you don't need a negative COVID test, and you don't need to fill out the travel authorization form. So you no longer need that coming in to Jamaica. Yeah, Justin says a few bad vendors make it difficult for the majority of the good vendors. Yeah, exactly. I do feel that. I think that, again, the majority of the vendors are good people. They're respectful. They're professional. They've been doing this for a long time. They understand the tourism industry. They understand the importance of tourism to the microeconomy that we have here in Negril. Totally agree. Yes, Chelsea says, please remember to hit the like button. Would certainly appreciate that. Whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, the like button definitely helps. Jeff says, is not Bloody Bay in Hanover, different rules and bylaws? It is in Hanover. You're correct. I don't know of it having different rules and bylaws. As far as I know, the same expectation regulations are here on Long Bay and Bloody Bay are the same. As far as I know, I don't think there is any advantage to being a beach vendor here or being a beach vendor in Bloody Bay. Andrew says, I've had no issues with the vendors. That's good to know. Justin says, when I was at Travelers in 2020, a coconut vendor gave me a coconut for free because I didn't have any money on me. He just said to give me something next time I see him. I gave him double the next day. That's awesome. That's a good experience. And most of them are cool like that. I have to say, I know them from them vending here at Travelers. I see them when I'm running on the beach, and say what up. And I think it's important, I don't know how other properties or property owners view vendors, but I do think it's important to have a relationship with them, because they, like I said, they are part of the experience. I don't believe we should be trying to get rid of them. I think that there are some, especially if they're not from the grill, like I've seen this many times before, like they don't understand the importance of tourism. They don't understand the importance of visitors. So they're just kind of looking at each individual person as a dollar sign. And instead of thinking long term, like the vendors who have been here for a while, like there's some vendors who literally have clients that come back every year and they ask for Ricky, they ask for David, they ask for Jem, and all these people that they've built relationships with over the years. And they're going to only go to that person to buy coconuts. They're only going to go to that person to buy fruits. And so it's just like any other entrepreneurial venture. If you start out slow and think about the long term, and you think about building your business, building your brand, eventually you will flourish. And I think, if anything, we should be thinking about and looking into giving them skill sets and training them in this sense. And I know that they had this program through Heart, I believe. This was probably almost 10 years ago. And I believe you had to your beach vendor's license, you have to go through, oh man, I forget the name of the program. I actually did it myself. It's slipping me, but it's a JTB, it's a tourist board program that you get certified as literally a class on tourism. I think it's a week long, and even taxi drivers have to go through this same course. If you want red plates and you want to be moving the public around in the tourism industry, you have to go through this course. So even these vendors have gone through this in order to receive their beach vending license. And I think that's an incredible program. And I think that's something that we need to continue to push, and also continue to push for retraining of this, because I think it's so important that if people come here and, you could literally sit here on the beach, and then somebody comes up to you and delivers fruit to you, delivers coconuts to you, and you have access to that, or is delivering a beef patty to you because the beef patty man comes at a certain time every day. I mean, it's Uber Eats before Uber Eats even existed, right? We had that on the beach. But however, I do think what I'm advocating for here is that a certain element of professionalism needs to be implemented, which again, many of the vendors do have. But I think a lot of the vendors who are maybe coming into the game initially are maybe not from Negril, maybe don't really understand how it works here. I think, they make some mistakes that is going to essentially cost them in the long term, unfortunately going to cost them in the long term. And it's just a matter of having that understanding. And like I said, I know many of these vendors who have these long-term relationships. I mean, even some of them will come and sit on the guest porch and balcony and reason and talk and hang out, and they'll go to parties, they go to this bar, they go to that bar. But again, this comes after years of building relationships across Sierra Travelers, or even, up and down the beach. So, that's kind of my input on that with the vendors. Kadia said, did you see the Vice episode about the bauxite mining? No, I didn't. Do you have a link to that? I would love to see that. Let me know if you do have that. If you could throw that in the comments, Kadia, I would appreciate that. Ingrid says, I'll be in Ochi in 2 weeks with my family. I don't think I'm going to be here in 2 weeks. It'll be awesome to meet you, actually, Ingrid. We've been chatting here for a long time, but awesome. Ocean Grace says, congrats on your over 20,000 subscribers. I didn't hit that yet. We are, let's see here. I think we are just under 20, which is kind of cool, which is, we're getting there. We're at 19,300. But moving along, thanks to you all and your support of the channel, and coming to these live streams and telling your friends about it and hitting that like button. That's how we do it, slowly but surely. So thank you for that. We're getting there. Cece says, great info being shared. Let's support by liking the video. Thumbs up. Thank you. Yes, that would be appreciated. Donna says, I find that the majority of beach vendors in Negril are not pushy. The vendors at the craft market at Duns River Falls are pushy and get aggressive. Haven't been to Duns River Falls in a very long time. Haven't been there in a while. So interesting. If that's your experience. Love Tassie says, do you know the desert card when you want to order stuff that are not available in Jamaica from America, for example? Is that doable? Desert card? No, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know of that. If you could just explain a little bit more, Love Tassie, about what that is. Yeah, next trip. It would be great to meet up with you as well, Ingrid. Maybe next trip. Maybe next trip. Happy Mother's Day. God knows. Happy Mother's Day. All right. I guess we can move on to the next article. All right. So this one, switch back to the beach view. So this one, another Negril-esque article. And I think based on our channel, this is kind of a very relevant article and gives a little bit of understanding of some of the challenges that we have here in Negril and that we're facing. Title of the article is Negril Hoteliers Appeal to OUR, High Electricity Bill, Spotty Internet, Inconsistent Water Supply Among Complaints. This was written by Anthony Lewis, and I believe this is the Observer. And I will go ahead and throw the link in the comments, and you can read along if you'd like. And I will also read out loud. So this article came out on May 5th. And that picture that you saw is Ann Chen. She is the chapter chairwoman of the Negril chapter chairwoman of the JHTA, Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. The article reads, Negril Westmoreland complaining that, sorry, putting the picture in picture there. Okay, complaining that they are feeling the impact in their pockets. Stakeholders in the resort town of Negril have appealed to the Office of Utilities Regulations for help in addressing what they say is substandard service being offered by providers. Among their concerns are high electricity bills, poor quality electricity service, inconsistent water supply, and spotty internet. These are among the issues brought to the fore during a virtual forum with OUR representatives and stakeholders in Western Jamaica last week, Thursday. According to Negril Chamber of Commerce Director Sophie Grizzle Ramel, while the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited (JPS) has done some noticeable improvement work in the area, the service remains terrible. The quality of the electricity that we receive is killing us. We have to replace equipment. You know, they tell us we need to write and all of that, but you know, it's only onerous. It's very onerous, so I'm not sure how much you can do about the quality that we get. It's something we've had problems with for many, many years. They have upgraded some of their systems a bit, but what we are still getting is really terrible. Grizzle Ramel complained to OUR representatives at the meeting. The frequent repair bills, plus the high cost of electricity, she said, make it difficult for local properties to be competitive at a regional level. She complained that the western end of the country feels abandoned by OUR. I'm not sure if other parts of Jamaica suffer from the same problems, but it's difficult to do business when you see your electricity bill rising every month. You see your equipment breaking down every month, and you're trying to attract visitors to your island at rates that are competitive to other countries, lamented Grizzle Ramel. The OUR's senior regulator of engineering, Courtney Francis, advised her that they are aware of the challenges. Over the last few years, we have been looking into the quality of service situation in that part of the island. We have identified a number of issues that have been problematic inferences that we are doing a deeper investigation into that, assured Francis. In responding to the concerns raised, JPS Operations Area Manager for the distribution in the western end of the island, Ditomi Sergeant Fuller, outlined that the biggest challenge the company faces in providing service to the resort areas is granting hoteliers' requests not to cut away too much of vegetation while the same time keeping power lines free from encumbrances. There's a little bit of a backstory with that. that we may or may not get into, but I'll continue. So, for example, we have to leave when we go to cut a tree that is impacting a line that's causing the trips in the power, etc. For example, the hotels may be saying this is part of the beautification that attracts my guests. Finding that balance is one of the challenges we face in the hotel sector. Fuller explained Fuller. She promised that there will be additional improvements made over time, but cautioned that perfection will never be achieved. The issue of frequent outages in internet service was placed on the table by President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association Negril chapter, Ann Chen. Properties she pointed out include internet service as part of their marketing, and guests expect them to deliver. It's a product that we sell to our guests. We may get away with water outage for a couple of hours, but we don't get away with internet outages. When we have internet outages, we have to compensate our guests, he says. OUR Deputy Director General with oversight for telecommunications sector, Maurice Charvis, responded that complaints about the quality of service provided by the telecoms are not unique to Negril, and the regulatory body is taking a holistic approach to the concerns. We're developing our service rules to govern that sector. Just like how the electricity and water sector have guaranteed standards, we are also developing guaranteed standards for telecommunications sector, so the operators will be held more accountable and compensate you when they prevent you from offering the service. He explained, while also noting that the telecommunications industry is already heavily regulated. And that's the end of the article. All right, let's hop over to the comments here. Justin says, be careful with that Red Bull. Now, you're right. I read a really scathing article about Red Bull and, possible severe consequences, adverse consequences, health consequences. So I'm heeding your advice and trying to slow down on it. Thank you for that. Mr. Info says, Jamaica with Irie mentioned you last live. She agreed that the collaboration would be great. Awesome. I didn't know she watches the channel, but I'm going to reach out to her to do a collab. Thank you for that, Mr. Info. That's awesome. I love her channel, and she does a great job with just everything she does. Like very, very super professional journalistic approach to everything she does, crossing every T and dotting those I's. So I appreciate the value that she's bringing to the table and bringing to the platform. A Positive Lifestyle says, a bit late, but I'm still here. Can't miss this awesome view for the world. Awesome. Thank you for joining. All right. So I just want to break down a few things in this article. So basically we're talking about high electricity and internet for the most part. And I could definitely speak to that from a residential standpoint and then also from a commercial standpoint. And yeah, our bills are getting ridiculous, like absolutely insane. It's like the number one, it's been like this for a long time. Like it's the number one utility, number one bill you have to be concerned with every single month. And it's seemingly it's just going to get worse and worse, especially with the whole Russia thing. Like, man, I don't know what is going to happen, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go down. And I don't mean to be like complaining about it, but it's like one of those things that if something is like, how high can we go? You know, how much, what's the line? At what point are we going to say is enough? And I know it's tied to the price of oil. And this has been something that has been discussed since I first moved here. So like I'm like 16 years ago, basically, that we've been saying that the equipment from JPS needs to be upgraded to this and to that. And then as Sophie was saying in the article, in addition to that, you know, you keep getting these surges, which like blows equipment and it blows ACs. I mean, if you don't have UPSs on your laptops and your computers, like forget about it. You're going to lose equipment like crazy. And that's kind of like a regular thing, I have to say. Like if you don't have precautions put in place for your equipment, you're going to lose TVs. You're going to definitely lose fridges. which are super, super expensive because all that stuff is imported. And on top of that, you're paying these exorbitant bills. Like if you're, if you're paying these crazy, crazy bills, at least make the service be top notch, which it isn't. And it's just one of those things, man. You just need them, and you want them to do better because it is a partnership that we have with JPS, and we're in this together at the end of the day. And I know there are aspects of their business that is outside of their control, i.e. the oil. But if we can kind of with the vendors, like we need to have a better relationship with JPS. And as they were saying in this meeting, there needs to be a certain level of accountability, which is what OUR was founded on, and they're supposed to be regulating these companies and holding them accountable to certain standards. And at least from what the article is saying, that they will be doing that. But man, it's like one of those things, like we talk about it now in May 2022, but the lead time to action, the lead time to making sound investments in the company to counter some of the issues that we're facing, we already know it's years until something happens. But I do think there can be things done in terms of leveling up the quality of service, leveling up the time responses at JPS has to outages, which I have to say, thumbs up to JPS. Like they are real. Like I can't remember the last time we had an extended outage where, again, when I first moved here, it was pretty much a regular thing. The electricity being out for hours on end, not knowing when it was going to be fixed. And you compare that to now, so much better. It's night and day, where like you really had to have a generator, especially if you had a business. We have a generator for certain parts of our property here. We had a generator that ran the property, but that only lasted for a few years, unfortunately. But it's come to a point where you're less and less reliant on having outside power source for your electricity here, because I have to say, again, they've done a great job in improving their system. And I don't know what they did. I don't know the ins and outs, but much less power outages that we're having, at least in Negril and on the Beach Road. I have to commend them on that part. So I mean, I hope, and I have to say, like, same thing with water. Me and my brothers and my dad were having this discussion last week about, getting down these utility costs, because even the water, it's like absolutely ridiculous. And I'm like, man, how are people managing with these exorbitant prices? And again, it's not going down. And we as a company, we're trying to do our best to mitigate against these costs and cut here and cut there so we can afford this and continue to improve our business at the same time, and to maintain and improve on the service that we offer to our guests. So it's a double-edged sword in that sense. The next thing that they were talking about was the internet and the service with the internet. So we have I don't know what, so Ann Chen was talking about that. I'm sure she was speaking from representation of the entire hotel community here in Negril. But from my perspective here at Travelers, like we have Flow Fiber here. So the speed is excellent. I get better and faster internet here than I do when I go to New York. And like that's a fact. That is 100% fact. Yes, there are times when it does go down, and specifically as we move more and more into a world of working from home and remote work, the consistency is important. And that's why Anne was saying in the article is like, when the internet goes down, you have to compensate. Like people understand water, people will understand electricity, but especially if you're working remotely, the internet can't go down. And so even here, and I always tell people that, like, so we're looking to actually get a backup system to that, because we understand that the working remotely phenomenon, if you will, it's not going to be a phenomenon. It's like the way of life moving forward. And so we're trying to position ourselves to really offer that service as best as possible. So we're even looking into getting like a secondary line. But even if you're coming down here and you're staying at Travelers, or even if you're not staying at Travelers, don't depend, and you're going to be working from home, don't depend solely on the hotel's Wi-Fi. Have a backup plan. Get a cell phone plan as your backup, because there's only one instance that I can think of where the fiber line and Digicel and Flow went down at the same time. I mean, the stars have to be really aligned for something like that to happen. And again, there's only one time that I can remember, and it was for a short period of time. When I say short, it was a few hours, and I know that can be a lifetime if you're working, but the likelihood of all three being down is very, very low, very, very low. So if you are coming down and you are going to be working from home, at least for now, I'm saying in May 2022, have a backup, get a cell phone plan, especially if you're going to be here for an extended period of time. You're probably going to have a Jamaican cell phone plan anyway. Just get a postpaid get a postpaid data plan as part of your backup. So if the hotel Wi-Fi goes down or your Airbnb Wi-Fi goes down or whatever, at least you have a backup and that you won't miss work. And you have that, you just have just a peace of mind, at the end of the day, if you're working. So it's just, at the end of the day, I'm glad that these issues were brought up to OUR in that meeting. And, hopefully they do hold the relative parties accountable for just getting better service all around at the end of the day. All right, let's hop into the comments here. Let me scroll up. Yeah, I agree. Ingrid says word Jamaicanese is competition when it comes to electricity. Totally agree. I think that would solve the problem overnight. But I can't see that happening anytime soon. Positive lifestyle. Happy Sunday to you as well. King Naldo says, get surge protectors, folks. Good afternoon, family. Yes. Yeah, you got to have surge protectors on everything. Dosey Dose, hello. Thanks for hopping in. Winston C. Aaron says that's owned by a foreign company. Why should they care? They better care. They better care. We, the people, have to make them care at the end of the day. We're the ones who are suffering the consequences of the poor service all around. So we have to have meetings with OUR, the powers that be, and make sure that when things of this nature do happen, that we say something about it and we do have a voice. Ethan Grant says, I think you stay on one topic too long. Yes, think so? Do I stay on one topic too long? Let me know. We could always keep it moving. Hello, Brett from Orange Hill. Dosey Dose, 89 to 97, several days a week. No one had generators. Yeah. I wasn't. That's before my time for sure. But I've heard stories. I can only imagine different era, completely different era. Afternoon, Scotty. Thanks for hopping on. Byron says, good afternoon. I'm a bit late for this broadcast. Checking in from Baltimore. Still chilly here. Love your podcast. Thank you. Man, still chilly? That's crazy. So we're in May. Dosey Dose says, bought land, promised water. Hog property, ended up buying water from Mr. Hog for years and spent a fortune. Yeah, back there on the West End. So Dosey Dose is talking about Deep West End, otherwise known as Hog Haven. And yeah, I still believe that they're still trucking water back there. But I guess if you live around there or you have property around there, you're kind of used to that. And I would assume you have some sort of relationship with a water delivery truck. Simply Sasha K. Hello. Thanks for hopping on. Jamaica Telecommunication Network is a first world standard. I agree. They just need some tightening up with the service and the consistency. And then also sometimes, like if there's, I remember the last time there was a car accident that happened. Oh my gosh. They had one dude working on this line, and I think it took almost 2 days for it to get back up and running. And I was like, man, that's incredible. That even that is even possible that they would be doing it. Well, I mean, I hope that was a one-time thing and that never happens again. But that was, I think, mid last year, mid 2021 that happened. Dieter says you can configure multiple backup solutions with your router at the hotel. Yeah, so the issues that we have mostly with our hotel, like thankfully they're internal, and like we're continuing to build out our internal network here and making sure that we like everybody has good access, whether you have one device or whether you have 4 devices, because most people have multiple devices when they come down here. And so we want, if you're in a corner in your bathroom at Travelers, we want you to have internet service there. So it's one of those things like you just continue to build out. And so I think our service here is really good. You even get it right here on the beach. You get it at the pool. Like public areas are great, in your rooms, of course. But again, we want to blanket the entire property to have excellent service. Jamaican Atheist says, get Starlink. Can't go wrong with it. It's a satellite and it's global. I'll look into that. Thank you for that. You says, I will see you in November. Okay, awesome. Taylor Ricky Jackson. Happy Sunday. Mystical chiming in from Brooklyn. Afternoon, Linda Ackerman. Thanks for joining. You should be president of the Grill Chamber. Just don't do it. It's not worth the hassle. Yeah, no. I was the first vice president of the Chamber of Commerce for a couple of years. It's a lot of work. I'm still a director of the Chamber of Commerce and happy to volunteer my time and services and ideas, etc. But yeah, no Chamber of Commerce president for me. Not right now, at least. Maybe in the future. Official Boss Charity, Jamaica Love. Country Gal says it's chilly in Boston as well. Oof. Scotty says it was 44 degrees this morning in New York. Oh, man, I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks. I hope it warms up. We got a race out there running the Brooklyn half on the 21st of May. So hopefully it's decent. Actually, I wouldn't mind running the Brooklyn half at 44 degrees. That's like really good running weather for me. This hot weather out here, that's a problem. Miss Jones says, I'm planning on coming to Jamaica and visiting Grill. Was thinking of possibly working while there. So thanks for the Wi-Fi internet info. I need to get a phone while I'm there, apparently. I think it's a good idea. I don't know where you're staying again, but it's just if you're working and you need that constant internet connection, just have that backup. You won't regret it. Again, you probably, if you're going to be mobile and walking around, it's kind of just good to have an internet connection in your back pocket, no matter what. Dusty Doe says abusing dogs, let the cops take care of him or worse. Yeah, like I said, he's not really around. At least I'm not seeing him anymore. So hopefully he's not doing that anymore. Janice Williams says, good afternoon from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Welcome, Janice. Welcome. All right. So that's the end of the agenda, so to speak. I do have... if you have any questions, please let me know. I do have some pictures here. So a guest actually brought these. He just showed them to me this morning. I was like, oh, perfect timing. I can share them with everybody on the live stream. And so it's pictures of the property. Oh, man, I should have asked them what year this was. This must have been, I would say, early 2000s or late 90s. And so if you're familiar with the property, so I'm going to throw that up there. So this is Travelers. Again, I'm not sure what year this is, but this is Travelers a few years back. And if you're familiar with the property, it's kind of night and day. So you used to be, so on the left-hand side of the screen, those are our bungalow cottages. So my dad actually started out with just 3 of those. And then he slowly upgraded, like building, if you can look on the far right towards the beach, that is the restaurant building where I am essentially now on the deck. And that was the first concrete building that he built. So these bungalows on the left would have been started in 1994. So that's when we started with these. And then my dad slowly started building the other aspects of the property. So on the right, if you're coming towards where the camera is, if you see like there's some concrete buildings there and some zinc fencing, so that is the standard block that first being built. And I'm going to show you another picture, and then I'll show you some current ones in a second. Oh no, that's the current one. Hold on, we'll get back to that. And so that's the reverse angle, and that's the bungalows again. And then on the right side of the screen, that's Shields Negril, which is our neighbor. And yeah, you could even used to be able to actually park your car in front of your bungalow, in front of your cottage there back in the day. But as you'll see in a second, you can no longer do that. Oh, there's a date right there. That's 2001. It looks like it. February 20th, 2001. So early 2000s. And now as you look at it, so this is from the top. No, this is actually the reverse angle. This is the exact reverse angle. So the building on the right, which is blocking that last bungalow, this is our gym, and this is the reverse angle. So there would be the gym there that will be blocking the bungalow. And so there's the room 14 that you're looking at right there. This is the bungalow, and then the gym right there is blocking that view. And then this is from the top of the property, looking down at the beach, almost the same spot. I can bring it back a little bit. And now we have on the left, those are the bungalows, which are covered by palm trees, but same exact situation. Bungalows on the left side, and same thing, got the palm trees, and you got the grass in the middle here. I should have taken more pictures, but I know there's been a request for doing a property tour, so I will get that for you. Let's see if we can do it for next weekend, as a matter of fact. Do a little bit of a property tour. So that's travelers back in the day. I wonder who those two people, those folks all the way down there is. All right, let's get into the comments. All right, let me pull down the... All right, Justin asked how I did in the triathlon. I did okay. I came in 5th overall. Didn't have the best mindset going in. I was 30 seconds away from 2nd place, which was crazy. You know, I could have. I didn't race the running leg of it because I thought there was nobody to race, and I didn't know where I was. But it was a good learning experience. You know, that's obviously not my sport, but I had a ton of fun going out there. A ton of fun being amongst competitors and amongst athletes. And it's a really amazing event, the Jake's Off-Road Triathlon. This was the 27th year, if I'm not mistaken, that it was done. And obviously the last 2 years had to take a break because of COVID. And so it was just kind of it was a reunion for many. You know, I know a lot of the athletes that were out there. Haven't seen them in a couple of years. And I know a lot of people haven't seen each other in a couple of years because of everything that's happened. So it was a great event. I thought it was awesome. I did well. I could have done a lot better. I had the fitness to do a lot better, but unfortunately, it didn't go the way I would have wanted to go. But lesson learned, and this is like one of those things when you go through these races or marathon or competition, you just learn from it, you know, and whatever mistakes that you made or errors that you made during that race, you adjust for next time. So this is going to obviously help me for the next triathlon I do, but it's going to help me mentally prepare for the next race I have. So like I said, I have Brooklyn Half coming up in 2 weeks on the 21st of May. And, you know, I'm going in there with a completely different mindset and going to definitely race my heart out in that race. So thank you for asking, Justin. I appreciate that. All right, Dosido says 30 years. Sonia's patties. Yes, Miss Sonia. I see Miss Sonia like literally, I think every single morning when I go on my runs, she's setting up and getting ready to serve the public in her business. You know, she's, what would I say? She's less than a mile from Travelers. I'd say 3/4 of a mile away. 3/4 of a mile away from Travelers. Dosido says greetings from California. Donna says this is great seeing these photos. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Synthwave says the expansion of the family business is inspiring. Thank you very much, Synthwave. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Next time, we'll get him next time. I promise. You know, we're going to have even better fitness. We're going to be more prepared and all of that. All of that. Rose says you guys have come a long way. Definitely have come a long way. Thanks to my dad. You know, he's the one who started all this and gave me and my brothers the opportunity to take it to the next level. Andrew says, congratulations to you guys. I've seen your development over the years as I stayed a few hotels next to you, but when I come next, I will go to yours. Awesome. Would love to have you. Would love to have you. Looking forward to having you here as a guest. Susan says, hey, Throp, apology for my late appearance. Blessing. Nope. Thank you for joining, Susan. Thank you. Always appreciate your presence and contributions to our discussions here. Chelsea says, until the government issues more licenses to other electric companies, the Jamaica Public Service will continue to be an albatross around the necks of small businesses. Competition would definitely help. I can't agree more with that. Calisthenic Art says, what's up? What's up? Susan says, wish I had trained for the Brooklyn race. There's always next year, Susan. There's always next year. Donna says, how many videos in the Kingston Real Estate Series? We have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 more. We have 4 more videos coming out for that series. Dosido says, what else is new? Old complaints. Sophie Grizzosorella in. Nice woman. She is a nice woman. All right. So I'm going to open it up to any questions that you all may have. So throw them in the comments. Here to help in any way that I can. As we just asked, we have more videos coming out. I plan on having maybe the second episode of the Kingston Real Estate Series is coming out this week for sure. I have another podcast that was complete with a local business owner, Kim. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Travel with Kimmy. And she does low-cost travel here in Jamaica. And we had a very fruitful discussion. I think she's like, I don't even think she's 25, if I'm not mistaken. And she started this really amazing business right before the pandemic. Born in, I think she's from Westmoreland. Anyway, she's born and raised here in Jamaica. Started this business before the pandemic. And she does affordable travel to she's been to, I think, 5 continents. So she hasn't been to she hasn't been to the South Pacific, Australia, and she hasn't been to Antarctica. And so she plans on doing that. And when I say she hasn't brought her clients to, she hasn't offered that as a destination for her clients. And she does these trips to like Europe for 2 weeks for like $1,500, flight and accommodation included. And like the whole premise of her business was being able to offer Jamaicans affordable ways to travel to destinations that they probably never thought they would be able to. And I think she is doing a great, amazing service to and for Jamaica. And I didn't get into her secrets in terms of how she's able to get these prices so low, but she's doing it. And she has like these great trips planned to Europe. She's done multiple trips to Africa. other Caribbean islands, of course, South America as well, all over the United States. And we had like a really amazing conversation about her motivation behind it, why she's doing it, and talking about a lot about different trips that she has planned in the future. And it was a pretty awesome conversation to see and to sit down with a young entrepreneurial person and her pushing, having like these great ambitions to take her business to the next level. And I'm excited to share that discussion with you. And I'm sure some of you probably use her services, and you don't even have to be, most of it is leaving from Jamaica to go to these different locations. But in order to take advantage of them, you don't have to be here. You can actually leave from New York or London, wherever you are, and still get the amazing prices that she has to offer. So that's the podcast coming up this week. And then I have, no, you can leave it. And then I have the second episode of the Kingston Real Estate series. So that's on 20 South. So that's coming along pretty good. I'm excited to share that. And I know a lot of people are interested in that and have heard about 20 South, which is a luxury real estate development essentially in the heart of Kingston. And we go into the details of the development. It's different from the first episode where we were going to a construction site of a development, where this we're going to an already completed development. So giving you a different picture and different side of that. And it's a new real estate agent as well, so different perspective on how Tanya thinks of the real estate market. So it's interesting, I would say, and excited to share that with everybody this week as well. Stanley says the first one was great. Congrats to you. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. Chelsea says, what is the situation with the land dispute in Negril? I believe you're referring to the Little Bay dispute, I believe. As far as I know, it's still going on. I don't know if it's been, what has been concluded. I haven't heard any further uproars. I'm sure that it's still in discussion, and things have, I doubt they've been settled. That was a couple of weeks ago that we were talking about, but hopefully they have made progress. For those that don't know what we are referring to, or I'm referring to, there is a dispute with Little Bay, which is here in Westmoreland, and it's a 500-acre property, and there have been folks who have been living there for multiple generations, but it is privately owned by a foreign landowner. Has had it for years, and now I believe they've sold it, or in process. I believe they've sold it, a matter of fact, for however many billion, or they're due. I don't know how much they sold it for, but they're doing a multi-billion-dollar development over there, and now they're in process of getting rid of the squatters who are there, so they can start the development. And there was this dispute that almost got physical, and demonstrations almost happened, but it didn't. It got to a fever pitch, but never quelled over, so to speak. And now they're in dispute with this development and the people who've been there. So I don't know if they're going to relocate them or what's going to happen. But as far as I know, it is still ongoing at this moment in time. Thanks for the question, Chelsea. Mr. Info says, hey, Throp, how do you feel about interviewing the president of UIC? They are a third registered political party in Jamaica. To be honest, I've been steering away from politics and politicians, whether in power or not. And it's not something that I'm totally closing my eyes to or completely shutting off, but just something that I don't necessarily feel we need to go down at this point in time. And it's not like I have anything against politics or anyone or anything like that, but that could be a rabbit hole, so to speak. But something I'll keep in the back of my head, for sure, something I keep in the back of my head. But I definitely don't want this to become in any way political channel. And really, to me, it's like I want to just bring, what would I say, voices, interests, and thinking of, common, everyday, regular people, which I think I've done a good job of that, of just being in diversity and perspectives like that. So thank you for the suggestion, Mr. Info. I will definitely take it in consideration, but definitely at this point, it's something that I haven't been too interested in and kind of avoiding it at this point in time. But never say never. Alan Girl says, "Did your father originally own and build Travelers?" Yes, he did. So he bought the land in 93 and started building in 94. That's when those cabins that you saw first came in, and he slowly built it over the years while we were kids, going back and forth between New York and Jamaica. And in 2011, when I finished business school, my dad retired and handed the business over to me and my two brothers, Winfield and Wingate. Thanks for the question. She says, yes, it is past time we do something about it. I say train everyone's mind to solar. If everyone moves towards renewable energy, we would definitely reduce the cost of electricity for all. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We're continuing to try to build out our solar. We have a 10 kilowatt system now, 10,000 kilowatt system now. And we are looking to build that out even more because, again, these prices are absolutely insane right now. Positive Lifestyle says, I would love to see an interview with you and your dad of him telling us about his journey in developing Travelers Beach. Absolutely. That is on the agenda. That is on the docket. And I plan on doing that at some point in the future. Funkbringer, hey man, says, hey Throp, is there any chance at all for someone to still get a piece of beachfront land or on the 7 Mile Beach for a small business, or is it just a dream because all the land is spoken for? Nope, there is multiple pieces of land for sale on the 7 Mile. I think more of the question is, are you willing to pay for it? Because it is at a premium. There are properties that are like already existing, built properties that I know are for sale here, but they're being sold for millions of dollars. And some might say that it's not worth it. And I was talking to Margaret, who's the real estate agent that I've had on here a few times in a few videos, and she's done real estate deals all over the island. And she says Negril is the one place where they will just hold on to a piece of land until they get the price that they want. And I find that to be true. It's just, if you have the cash and you want it bad enough, you can get the land, but they're selling for very, I did multiple millions of dollars for a few acres, put it that way. And so that's if you're on the beach itself. And who knows, maybe you can get a deal somewhere. But there are definitely, even as you ask that question, there are properties that I'm thinking of in my head that I know are for sale. Again, existing businesses, hotels in particular, and then there are a few properties like open lots that are, I believe, are for sale that don't have any development on them. Good question. Thank you. Justin says wind energy too. Yes, we need multiple renewable sources of energy. All right, bringing you guys back the beach view there. Camille says, I think you should keep politics off your channel. It's too controversial and not on brand, in my opinion. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking for right now. And then, nothing against politicians, but like, I'd ask straightforward questions and I'd want straightforward answers, right? But these guys are good. They're politicians, they know how to bob and weave and slip, right? So it might be annoying for me to interview them anyway. But yeah, I think good point, Camille. Yeah, it might. I don't think it's on brand. Maybe. Yeah, not for right now. Not for right now. Where things are. Mr. Info Life says, I fully understand it's a touchy subject. Yeah, it can definitely be a touchy subject. Yeah, Positive says, yes, I agree with you. Leave politics out of it. Susan says you should stay away from them only if it's an individual that seeks meaningful change to the people. Right. Yeah, Ingrid, everybody's saying the same thing. Ingrid, you're right. Stay away from politics. Donna says totally agree. Politics and religion are touchy subjects. Chelsea says, Thorpe, you should try to get the president of the Negro Chamber of Commerce to take questions from diasporans. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Maybe we could set up a live or something like that. But yeah, I know Mr. Wallace, Richard Wallace, like very well. And he's been on my channel before, particularly talking about the pandemic when it first started. I interviewed him. And so we have that interview up on the channel. But yeah, I know he'd be more than happy to come on and talk about Negril, talk about Jamaica. He's very well informed, well read, smart dude as well. And I would love to have him on the podcast. I'm actually going to hopefully reach out to his son, me and his son, Matthew. He has a couple of businesses in Negril, and I want to talk to him. So I'm trying to get him within the next 2 weeks, set something up and get him on the channel as well. I think he has the conversations that we've had is from a young entrepreneurial perspective, born and raised here in Negril and starting multiple businesses, getting like his perspective on where Negril came from, where we are, and where he sees it going, and then learn a little bit about his businesses as well, which are seemingly doing well. You know, obviously had a really rough time the last 2 years, but I think they are doing well, and I'm excited to have him on the podcast at some point in time. Susan says, I just switched to solar on my house and we are facing the same issues here in New York. In March, my electricity bill went up by 50%. Oh, wow. That's incredible. You don't hear that. I don't hear that a lot. Not in New York. Interesting times we are in right now. Frontbringer says, BYU, by the way, I got to say the stream is super smooth today. Awesome. Good to know. Got to just save these settings. Whatever we did, we got to repeat it next week. Lorraine says, hey, Throp, I've been watching some of your videos. They are really interesting and give such positive view of Jamaica. One question, does your older brother help out at Travelers? No, so it's, for those that don't know, there are three of my three brothers. So I'm the oldest of the three. So there's myself, Winfield is the middle brother, and Wingate is the youngest brother. And then I have an older half brother that lives in England, Mark, and he is not in the business. So he's from my dad's previous relationship, but he has my niece and my nephew, and they are actually coming down in August. Excuse me, they're coming in August, which we're all really excited for. And his wife, my sister Andrea, of course, she's coming as well. And so it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, my older brother, he's not in the business. He's in a completely separate business. He does what would I call bespoke custom suit business. So he actually made a suit for me. Did he make a suit? No, he made a shirt for me, which I actually need to start wearing and promoting here on the podcast at some point in time. So that's what he does. I got to get his info. So for those in England, and, that may be interested in suits, I will point you in his direction. Let me see. We're gonna get it out right now. We'll get that up in a second. But yeah, that's what my older brother does, and he's very good. He was actually working for Saks Fifth Avenue for a while, and when he moved to the United States, when he moved in with us, as a matter of fact, and that's where he's always been in marketing, and he's always been into fashion. And then after he moved from New York to England, he started this company, and it is J&E Clothing. And I'm going to go ahead and post that in the comments right there. You all can check it out, and you'll see I'm right there on the front page with the suit on. And so, yeah, if you are looking for a suit or a custom suit, he's your guy, especially out there if you're out there in the UK. And he does really good stuff. He helps me with fashion stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys remember how I started my podcast. I wasn't dressing the best, right? I still am not a great dresser or into fashion or anything like that, but he just gave me different ideas of different colors that I should be wearing and maybe get a haircut and get a shape up, that sort of thing. So if you look at my first podcast versus now, very, very different, and not only in quality of the video, but also in terms of my demeanor and camera presence. And so, yeah, that's my brother's business there that I put in the comment section. So again, if you know anybody who wants a suit or are interested in a suit yourself, I can highly recommend him. He's super professional. He comes like if you're, in your office, he'll come to your office, size you up, go through different color palettes and different materials as well, and more than happy to help you out with that. So thank you for that question about the brothers. O'Neill Chambers, is there any plan for development for the South Lamar to Negril end of Negril? Do you mean by inroads or in terms of housing? But in general, to answer your question, I do not know of any official government plans to do any development there. I know if you're going on Nampro Road going towards Salve, there are a lot of squatting communities there. And I know that they're trying to get those squatters proper housing and to have them be in concrete structures and communities. And that is some valuable land there. But of course, you can't just kick people off, people who've been there for decades in many cases. And so I know that that's happening, are in the works, or has been in the works for a long time. Moving further towards Salve, we talked about Little Bay. So if you're going towards Little Bay and towards Jam West, there is a small residential housing development called West Isle, and it's by the owners of Jam West, as a matter of fact. And that is the newest residential community within the greater Negril area. And I know of a subscriber who was considering purchasing a property here at the Aqueduct here in Negril at the Aqueducts. And then they were also considering purchasing a home at West Isle, which is about 15 minutes from Negril. And they actually ended up buying, or at least putting in an offer to that place. I don't know where they are in the process, but I know they said they were going to put in an offer. So that's the only other semi-development that I know of happening between here and South Lamar. I'm not sure if I answered your question or if that's what you were referring to. Byron says, hey, Throp, can you please bring your pops on to share how he started his vision then? Yes, absolutely. He is on the agenda for sure. He's on the agenda for sure. Donna asked, is it true that Negril had a hippie colony back in the 60s? Yep, that's how Negril got started. All the hippies, they came and they hung out on the beach here during the day, and then they pitched their tents on the West End at night, and that's where they slept. And that's kind of how Negril got started. It started out as a small fishing community and developed into what it is today. Good question. T says community building and cooperation is where it's at, not relying on politics. I agree. Isaiah says, peace. Hello. Thanks for hopping on. Ingrid says, I used to work in Saks Fifth Ave, NYC for Louis Vuitton. Awesome. Maybe you work with my brother. This would be, what I say, mid 2000s. So like early to mid 2000s. Justin says, Throp, you should stay away from politicians because they are too polarizing. Your channel build bridges, not walls. Absolutely. I agree. Rose says, I liked how you are so open with your answers. Thank you, Rose. Ingrid says, late 60s, early mid 70s, Negril was the place for the hippies to go. It was wonderful. Could sleep on the beach all night and not get molested. If you needed to use a phone, you had to go to Salve. That's crazy. I can see that. Interesting. I can only imagine what that was like. This was years ago, speaking to another fellow Negril hotelier, and he's telling me back in his day, you can walk from basically the Hanover side to downtown Negril blindfolded, and you wouldn't get hit by a car. Like that's how desolate, if you would, Negril was, and how unpopulated it was back then. So that's crazy. Hard to imagine things of that nature now that just now in this modern era. MJ says, hi, Throp recently started on your channel, so apologies if this was answered already. My family does a lot of fear mongering when I speak about going back. What are your thoughts on safety? Good question, MJ. I mean, I'd say generally speaking, like there's no denying that crime is an issue in Jamaica for sure, but it's not like, I'm not going to say name any countries, but it's not like other countries where it's like randomized, right? That you can be at a, you walking down the street and somebody's going to rob you or stab you or whatever. Like that's not a normal occurrence here. Unfortunately, a lot of the violence that's taking place here is internal, and there in many cases there is a background to it, and I'm not trying to underplay it or underpin it by any means. It is real, it does exist. And so if you're a person coming to visit, or you're a person coming to buy a home or to live here, I mean the likelihood of something happening is low. I've been here 16 years so far, and I mean, I'm fortunate, knock on wood. There's never been a point in time where I feared for my life or anything of that nature. I had a guest on the podcast come on, and I think she gave great advice. She retired from the UK, and one of the pieces of advice says is just be careful of who you associate with and who you bring into your inner circle. And I think that also dictates a lot in terms of possibilities of keeping that circle, that inner circle close. And you may say, hey, I don't want to live my life that way, I want to be friendly and open. I'm like, okay, but at the same time we got to be realistic here, and we got to understand what's happening here. And I think that is a real reason why I haven't had any issues of that nature. And I feel free. I feel happy. I don't feel threatened. I feel, I run every single morning. If you're in Negril, you've probably seen me running. You've probably seen where I run from, et cetera, et cetera. And like, I don't have a fear of my safety or anything of that nature. I feel very comfortable. So it's just a matter of, I would say, just being smart and not coming down here and throwing caution to the wind. And that's goes for if you're visiting or if you're even moving here as well. It's just, you kind of gotta keep your guard up, like, and not to a point of being fearful. I'm just saying that, but you just to a point of, you want to be conscious, you want to be smart of, again, who you let into your inner circle, who you associate with. And of course, if you're into silliness in terms of, not doing the right thing. And I think we all know what the right thing is. And if you're coming here to retire and to enjoy your retirement, or maybe you're coming here to start a business, as long as you're keeping things above board, in my opinion, you're more than likely you're going to be okay. You're more than likely going to be okay. So MJ, I don't discount the concerns that your family may have for your safety, but I don't think at the same time it's to a point where it should stop you from coming here. It should stop you from spending time here. It should stop you from living here if that's something that you want to do. It shouldn't stop you from investing here, because there are people moving here every day. There are people who are migrating here every day, every month. There are people who are investing here every day, every month. And don't miss the boat. I would say, if that is something that you're looking into, and I think that's a big part of the premise of my Kingston real estate video, is that is really bringing the opportunity to the forefront, because there is massive amounts of money coming into Jamaica, and they are seeing something, and I still don't know exactly what that is. And we've discussed that many times here on the live, especially, particularly as I think we are moving towards the idea that Jamaica is trying to make itself into a logistics hub of the West, almost a Singapore of the Western Hemisphere. And I think that's what, and I believe we've read an article on that, as a matter of fact, that's what a lot of these companies are making big bets on, that Jamaica is going to be that place, that logistics hub. and they're pumping billions of dollars into the economy and into Jamaica, investing in Jamaica, and that's why. So that's my answer to you and to your family's concerns. Thanks for the question, MJ. Chelsea asks, how are the bookings looking for the summer? It's looking good. It's looking good. The concern is like, and us as hoteliers and even my brothers, we talk about, the war in Ukraine. You just never know where that thing is going to go. And, UK, Canada, UK specifically just recently opened up, and we're getting a lot of visitors from Europe and UK. And something like that, obviously, it's unfortunate everything that's happening there. And it's just that a situation like that will have global effects, or it is having global effects. I talked about oil prices yesterday, but it could get even further. It could get worse than that. So, I'm not oblivious to that. I'm not trying to ignore the fact that there is a possibility that World War III could break out tomorrow, right? And so I can't be worried about that in a sense. I can only control what I can control and prepare as best as possible for the inevitabilities. But nonetheless, the bookings do look good, and they are promising. It's not better than the previous summers or anything like that, but we just got out of surviving a pandemic as a hotel. So when we look at our numbers, they're relatively good. And speaking to other hoteliers, it's also looking promising for them as well. So thank you for the question, Chelsea. Justin says, I believe you should be aware and keep your eyes on politics like you would a poisonous snake slithering by your feet. Thank you for your comment, Justin. Much appreciated. I got you. Say no more. Say no more. No politics for this channel. Susan says, yeah, now you have a nice swagger. Thank you. I think Susan is referring to my first podcast juxtaposed to the podcast that we're doing now. Very different. Thank you for that. Sash says, I'm fairly new to your channel. Are your parents Jamaican? I love your weekly setup. Thank you very much. My dad is Jamaican and my mom is from Fiji. So my mom is actually in here. And yes, I did FaceTime her and wished her a happy Mother's Day today earlier. So trying to be a good eldest son. But yeah, that's the background, my background. I've been to Fiji in 2017. That's the last time I was there. And then before that, I wasn't in Fiji since I was a baby, I think 4 years old or something like that. But very proud of both my heritages. Is that a word? Fijian and Jamaican. Thank you for that, Sash. Ingrid saying a lot of violence is due to gang violence at the end of the day. Unfortunately, that is true. Greg says, I've had the experience that gangsters seek me out to find me in Negril. Oh, yeah? I wonder why that is. Sorry to hear about that, Greg. Sorry to hear about that. SK Skipper says there has been a lot of progress with the seizing of illegal weapons by authorities. Yes, you hear about it, but it seems like there's room for improvement always, right? And I was having a discussion with somebody earlier, is that they were saying the same thing about, man, if Jamaica could get past this crime problem and get it under control. And I have to say, like, at least they're doing something. There was I don't know if you saw, there was a lot of upheaval about the ZOZO, the zone of operations. This is when they have the army being put in a special community, in a particular community, and then there's curfews imposed in that community because of crime and violence. And there was altercations between the soldiers and community members. And the prime minister came on saying that they are not moving that based on what's happening. The presence of the soldiers is needed. My point in even bringing that up is that in my mind is like, okay, they're doing something. These things aren't going on deaf ears. And I don't know how to measure progress, whether the inputs that the government is having and the army is having on the community, what are the outputs? Are we having positive consequences? Are things moving forward? Are we progressing? Again, I don't have the measurements to say yay or nay with that, but at the end of the day, I feel like they are doing something and they are taking it very seriously. My 2 cents on all that. Thank you, Skipper. Justy says, Throp, you never ask people to subscribe, share, and hit the like button, yet your channel continues to grow. Amazing. Thank you. Maybe I need to say that more often so the channel can grow a little bit more faster, right? But yeah, if you can hit the like button on this video, that would help, whether you're watching the replay or you're here live with us. And if you're not subscribed, why not? Pal says, I would move away from JPS and go solar. Yeah, I agree. Solar, and I believe earlier Justin mentioned wind as well. You know, if you have the space, that would be great to have some wind energy as well. Benjamin says, everywhere one should walk with caution. Simple common sense. Throp, do you have a newsletter you put out to your followers? No, I don't. We're working on it. Like right now, I had this. I could give you like my transparent thoughts about the channel and where we're going. And I know we talk about the Throp X conference that we're having in November, but what I realize is that I've been focused on ramping up the amount of videos that I put out each week, and I realized that, man, I really got to focus on the business aspect of this channel and the foundation of it. And one of those is getting this newsletter out. One of those is fixing or improving the website and getting it to a world-class standard, if you will. And also, I know many of you have emailed me, and like I'm so backed up with emails, like literally since early April. And so I apologize if I haven't responded to your email. It's one of my big goals for this week, is literally respond to every email that everybody has sent me, and to never let it get out of control the way that it is. And so as far as like the future of the channel, what I realize is what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks is like I've been trying to focus to get 2 to 3 videos out per week. So what I'm going to do is like we're going to go to 1 video per week, keep it nice and simple for the next few weeks, maybe for the next few months, as a matter of fact, while I focus a little bit more on the fundamentals and foundation of the channel and of the business aspect of the channel as well, so that I can get back to everybody in a timely fashion with emails. I can focus more on planning the Throp X conference in November, which is coming along nicely, I have to say. The website, I'm actually working with my brother on that, as a matter of fact. And then once that is out the way, or at least it's churning, then we can get to a point where we are focused on getting 2 videos out a week, 3 videos out a week, and then it becomes this machine. So that's kind of my transparent thinking and how I'm approaching the channel and how I'm approaching creating content. But the newsletter, I mean, I hope the way that I have it planned out now, like we should be having that out at least on a monthly basis in the middle of the summer. So thank you for that, Benjamin. We will get that out at some point. Thank you. Isaiah says, Throp, great answer about safety in JA. You can't get mixed up in the badness in JA. I would build my house in an area where other like-minded people live. No ghetto life. Yeah. So I think you bring up a good point, Isaiah. And my dad said this before. And what he's seen is that this is an example that he gives, where you're born and raised in a particular neighborhood in Jamaica. You move abroad at some point in your life. You spend 20, 30 years away. You do well in your career. You make your money, and you want to come back and retire in Jamaica, but you want to move back to your old neighborhood. And maybe it wasn't the best neighborhood. Maybe it was a garrison. Maybe it was a ghetto. And my dad was simply saying is like, you can't move back to that place and you're just on a completely different level, socio-economically, life experience, etc. And you come back and you build this luxurious house in the middle of what still is a ghetto area where you came from. And of course, you have feelings of nostalgia and wanting to be in your community and to give back and all those things. But what people who have done that have failed to realize is that you're just kind of completely different level. One, Jamaica has changed from what you know it was 20 or 30 years ago, and your neighborhood has probably changed. And a lot of the mindsets that are in your community that you grew up in, that you know and that you love, remain the same, where your mindset and how you think and how you approach life has accelerated, has grown. You've been around the world. You've worked for different corporations. You've educated yourself. And so like Isaiah is saying, you want to be in a community of like-minded individuals, and that's something that I never thought of with my dad until my dad had mentioned that. Like that is really good advice, and to again build your house in a community, like Isaiah says, with like-minded individuals. I think that is great advice. And there's you being in a community where you are more or less showing off your wealth and your money through construction of a large home, which many of them would consider a mansion, where you're considering it as just a normal home to you that you're used to living in the United States or Canada or Europe or wherever you're coming from. So that's just something to take into consideration. Little piece of advice. But thank you for that, Isaiah. Appreciate that. Jeff says the big issues in travel to Jamaica from Canada. Yeah, I heard you guys still are requiring PCR tests. Let me know if I got that right, Jeff. To Canada, to go back to Canada, which is crazy. But I would say even the United States, you still have to get an antigen test. I'm like, man, when are they going to get rid of that? Hopefully soon. I only say that I felt like, to be honest, I felt like Jamaica should have kept the antigen test, just so at least you're weeding out. But if that's the case, not the case, right? You don't need to have that going back, right? Because that is a hindrance. But I don't know when they're gonna let those things go. If we're not doing it anymore, this is a lot not do it across the board, right? Island Gal says I hitchhiked around the entire island on the back of an ice truck mid-70s, and it was an amazing way to see the island and meet people. That is impressive. On the back of an ice truck in the 70s. What a story. I can only imagine what the experiences were like. Ingrid, the people that's moving to Jamaica see something that we Jamaicans don't see. We're going to miss out if Jamaicans living out in the diaspora don't wake up and move back and invest in Jamaica. I agree. I keep saying, like, something's happening. They know something. They see something. Again, I haven't, like, as soon as I know, can they touch my finger on it? Like, I will let you know, like, when I have a concrete answer, a concrete reason. But it could be a multitude of reasons, and it probably is more than anything else. But again, I think as a channel, we're slowly moving towards that idea that they're trying to become Jamaica is trying to become a logistics hub. Jeff says Canada is the Toronto airport backlogs. Okay. Oh, we got a bunch of comments here, so I'm going to try to breeze through them quickly. O'Neill says, as someone who is originally from Manchester, one of the things that I noticed was how pervasive squatters are in Westmoreland. It definitely creates an eyesore. Yeah, it's a problem. And you're probably only seeing like the surface level of it, because as you go into other neighborhoods, it gets pretty dicey, to say the least. But good observation. And he also says they also seem to occupy the best lands. It would be nice if the government could provide some planned communities for them and develop these areas unless this is done. Yep. Unless this is done, it will be hard for Negril area to realize this potential. I agree. Justin, Ingrid says, well said, Justin. Multiple fire emojis. Tony Mack says, hey, everyone, happy Sunday. How our plans come along for the November event? Yep, just talked about that. Coming along, the website is the main thing. So that has become like my day-to-day priority, is getting that website up and running. The itinerary is together, already started confirming panelists. And the date is confirmed November 10th to the 14th. And moving along, already had a meeting with a supplier for the merchandising and signage. So pretty much every week we're moving the yardstick forward slowly but surely, but it is coming along. Thank you, Tony, for that. Jeff says the big issue of Canadians traveling to Jamaica is the Toronto airport is backlog, takes hours to get through. I see. SK Skipper says, I also believe the Jamaican public should transition to electricity vehicles, so it's possible that the prices of renewable is going down while the price of fossil fuel is going up. Yes. So my thing, I agree. I mean, I hope, maybe the next car I get is electric or some sort of hybrid, because like these gas prices are insane right now. And so but to charge to charge your car, it's powered by electricity, which is powered by gasoline here. And so there needs to be some sort of um I guess, like, charge them with solar, right? I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can use the sun to charge a battery that charges your car, but I'm sure if you did some sort of grid tie system where it's charging the sun to a solar panel to your car, I'm sure that would take quite some time to charge your car. So I don't know much about this stuff. I don't know if there's a technology already in existence where you're getting renewable energy to renewable energy car, electric car, if you know what I'm saying. But I think that's a good suggestion, Skipper. Donna Bryce says, would you say similarities between Fijian and Jamaican culture? Or what would you say? Yeah, definitely. I gotta eat this banana. Losing energy. I definitely say, especially from my experience of going down to Fiji in 2017, very, very similar. Super, very, very friendly people, open. I felt like at home. I felt very much like Jamaica when I was there. Like, I felt so comfortable. We were on, like, in the rural part of Fiji on, man, I forget the name of the island. I should know this, but my family has heritage there on this island, and my grandmother's aunt's family have land on this island, and we spent 3 days there. No electricity, like JPS, so to speak, city electricity. We had to use a generator at night. No running water. We had a well that my cousin used a generator to pump from, female cousin, that is, because I couldn't do anything. I was of no help, of no use whatsoever. But it was just kind of gutting back to your roots. Got fish, skinned the fish, and all right, lost internet there for a second. Sorry about that. But I'm actually using my phone. Speaks Goes to speak about having a backup. So we're back and up and running, and I just tethered my computer to my phone. Took a few seconds, a little disruptive, of course, but back up and running. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, we do have there are a lot of similarities between the culture, the even the plants. Like, there's so many of the same plants. They have bougainvilleas, obviously palm trees. I remember, I just remember like a lot of the foliage being the same. I'm like, how the heck do you have this? I mean, obviously somebody brought it over from somewhere, but like the same trees and the same this and the same that. So I thought that was cool. Greg says, "Oh, I love Negril. I just have to be careful there." Okay. Student says, like anywhere else, stay in your lane. Furical, our publishing and administration's greeting, bro. Very useful information. Keep up the good work representing our beautiful island. Crime is everywhere. Most of the time is media make it look ugly on us. Agreed. Kev says, looks like a nice day today in the grill. Nice shades drop. Thank you. It is pretty nice here. Clouds are starting to roll in. I don't think it's going to rain, just a little bit of an overcast. Andrew says, please say happy birthday to my sister, Hepsi Blake in London, whose it is on Friday, gone. And hi to my sister, Pauline Williams in Canarsie, New York. Oh, Canarsie. My dad had Winthrop car service there in Canarsie back in the day. So hello, Pauline, and hello, Hepsi. Happy birthday, Hepsi. Gucci J says, hi, Throp. Would you be interested in interviewing Irie Jamaica? She's a Ukrainian that moved to Jamaica 6 years ago. Yes, absolutely. Somebody had brought that up earlier, that she had brought up us doing collaboration together, and yeah, would love to speak with her at some point, do some sort of collaboration, and I'm going to reach out to her at some point. Jesse says, with Jamaica being the 4th preferred destination by American travelers, what is the Negril Chamber of Commerce and business leaders doing to take advantage of that? Who's number one? What's the number one preferred destination? That's my first question. We want that number one spot. So that would be my question, is like, how do we become number one? What is it? What do we have to do to become number one and take that spot? 1 second. I'm going to hold on. All right. I'm going to switch really quickly. I'm going to switch from my phone back to the hotel Wi-Fi. So just give me 1 sec and we should be back. All right, there we go. Okay. To answer your question, Chelsea, I didn't, first I'm hearing that, as a matter of fact, but I think it's just, we're just continuing to try to make our product better. And that article that I read earlier with the OUR and electricity and the service of the internet, like all these little things, hopefully will help us move to that next level. We talked about the hustlers on the beach, and that's a big part of the experience, whether it's negative or positive. And I think like that's what we need to do as a community, is continue to improve the product and hopefully be in that number one spot. And we know our pain points as a community. We know our pain points as a tourism destination. It's just a matter of really continuing to lobby for the help that we need to circumvent the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis as it relates to our product. And I think that's where we can really focus our efforts to hopefully get that number one spot and be the number one destination that Americans look forward to and want to come to at some point in the future. Thank you for the question. Kev says, did Hilo on the Beach Road open yet? They were painting about a month ago. Nope, still not open. Still working on it. I don't know if they have an open date set right now. Skipper says, I find it ironic that Jamaica is ranked as the happiest country in the Caribbean. Is it? First I'm hearing. Please send a link to this. I would love to see this. I would love to see that. Funkbringer says, Canada currently does not require us to test before we come to Jamaica, but we have to test going back to Canada. Right. That's what I understood. That's what I understand. But it just seems like you need a social media manager. I absolutely do need a social media manager. I'm terrible with posting on Instagram. I haven't made a post on Instagram since October 2021. But I prefer YouTube so much more. I really enjoy this platform and enjoy the process of creating for this platform. Not so much Instagram, but I do need to be more active on there, and I want to. I do put up stories there every now and then. I'll continue to do that, but again, I'm not so good with making posts. So, but if you know anybody interested in helping me out with social media, let me know. I'm open to it. Tess says, I'm looking forward to the next video about the exponential growth in the real estate market. The first one was very informative. Thank you. Marcia says, Throp, oh my goodness, so true. Ari locating to Jamaica. I'm telling people all the time exactly what you just highlighted. Awesome. We're on the same page. Thank you. Rose says, speaking of a newsletter, I haven't received any from Neat in a while. Are they still sending them out? Would you happen to know? I don't know, but my dad just left here, so I would have asked him on the spot. But I will find out. I will find out for you about the Neat newsletter. Thank you for that, Rose. Appreciate that. MJ says Jamaica is an English-speaking country in the Caribbean that is close to South America and the U.S. Great location to be the Singapore of the West. So I actually don't, and maybe somebody can clear this up for me. I'm just going to look up. So, all right. So I didn't read this article. So the article, and I saw it on the Prime Minister's Instagram page, it says Singapore supports Jamaica's bid for Commonwealth Secretary General. I don't know what this means. I guess we could read this together. I'll throw it in the comments. But as we're talking and making comparisons about Singapore and Jamaica, I'll read it real quick. I don't know what it means, but I guess we'll find out together. It says the Republic of Singapore has affirmed its support for the Jamaica's candidate for the post of Secretary General of the Commonwealth. In a diplomatic note, Singapore formally confirmed its backing of Jamaica's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith. Johnson-Smith is seeking to unseat the incumbent Baroness Patricia Scotland. The government expressed confidence that with Minister Johnson-Smith's strong credentials and leadership experience, she is well placed to lead the Commonwealth to greater heights. In a letter of appreciation and addressed to the Singaporean Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, Johnson-Smith conveyed her thanks for the expression of confidence in her to lead the Commonwealth. The Jamaican and Singaporean foreign ministers recently had an opportunity for bilateral engagement in New York City. They committed to continue strong bilateral, multilateral engagement on issues of interest to their two countries, including those within the family of Commonwealth nations. So I'm not going to read the article any further. I don't even know what that seat is. I have no idea. If somebody wants to explain that, that would be cool in the comments. But I think the fact that Jamaica is working with Singapore and we're on the same page and they're supporting us, and I'm sure we're supporting them, and we, in a way, like you, MJ, is saying, trying to be the Singapore of the West, I thought it was relevant. All right, let me keep going here. Freedom says something will happen. There's no way they are putting all this investment into the island for it to go nowhere. Totally agree. Susan says it appears as though the Jamaican citizens are now becoming tired of violence and are taking steps to assist bringing some criminals to justice. Susan says, I don't know your email address. I will put it here. So my email address is throp@thropmedia.com. I threw it in the comments. So if you want to shoot me an email, I'll be answering emails probably all week, given how backed up I am. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions or if you have any suggestions via email. Kev says another new variant spreading now. Hopefully more people get vaxxed and have minimal effects if they get. Reality is the virus will be around for a long time, so have to learn to live with it around. Yeah, the same person that I was talking about crime in Jamaica, that's exactly what we were saying with COVID. And so there was the Different Strokes party that I was talking about last year, which is a retro party that they have every year normally. And it just came back for the first time last night here in Negril. And it was at Waves Negril. And those who know Waves knows that it is a huge venue. And she said it was packed out to the max. And she's just worried about people catching COVID. And is there going to be a spike? Nobody was wearing masks, obviously. And, we both concluded that it's just something that we have to live with. We have to learn to live with COVID. And I think everybody is just going to have to take individual responsibility for their own health, safety, and well-being and that of their families. And it's just one of those things that we are in a new world and a new reality. That's just my opinion on it. And again, we just have to do whatever we can to protect ourselves and those that we care about for the most part. Hannah Bryce says, with JPS rates, charging an electric car could bankrupt you. Right. Yeah, we got to figure out an alternative with that. That would, I don't know, again, what the math is on that. Mr. Info says the technology for solar charging is here. When I get back to Jamaica, that's an industry I'm planning on getting into. I think you would do very well. I just installed a couple of EV chargers for a hotel in Atlanta. There is one EV charger that we have that I know of here in the Negril at the Boardwalk Village Plaza. That's the only one I know of. There may be others. Skipper says, do you have any plans to stream on different platforms simultaneously to expand your audience reach, i.e. Twitch, Facebook, or even Instagram Live? I guess I should, right? I guess I should. I have I'm using StreamYard. That's the platform that I use. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not streaming on Facebook or anything. That's such a silly thing. Good question, Skipper. There's no reason why not to, why I haven't. I will do that next week. Thank you. Okay, this is the island. Rocky Nano Ira. That's a family island. Thank you for that. That's in Fiji. That's in Fiji, by the way. KP says, did you say Winthrop Car Service? Yes, that's Winthrop Car Service in Canarsie, Brooklyn. Been there for over 50 years now. We no longer own it. We sold it to a driver back in 2005, I believe. But yeah, that was the first business my dad started. Not the first, but I would say the main business that he had when we were growing up. SK Skipper says, I also think Starlink, a satellite internet provider founded by Elon Musk, would be very competitive to the local internet provider in your region. It doesn't need any prior infrastructure, just a panel that can be installed by average consumer in an open area. It also works best in low dense areas, which is suitable for the majority of the parishes in Jamaica once available. Okay, I'll definitely look into this. Thank you for that. Somebody had mentioned it before, but I didn't know that was a Musk venture there. Freedom says there's more to Commonwealth position that we are being told. Check your stands on reparations. Okay, like I said, I'm very ignorant about the position and even how the whole Commonwealth structure works. So thank you for that, Freedom. Susan says we are just looking for a sense of normalcy. Therefore, moving back to Jamaica is just a natural thing. I hear you on that, Susan. All right, all caught up. All caught up with the comments. All right, so we are going to start wrapping up here. Okay, KP says I use that service a lot of times when I lived in New York. Awesome. Yeah, that was my dad's. That was my dad's business back in the day. All right, I think we're going to wrap up here. We've been going almost 2 hours, which is awesome. Love these long, extensive conversations and interactions with you all. I hope you guys enjoyed the view. The weather held up, which is always nice. But I think we are going to be bringing the stream to a close soon, and I guess we'll give it another minute or so just in case anybody has any last minute questions. We are going to bring it to a close. Thank you all for all the great questions that you had today. I always love doing these things. I'm going to be traveling in a couple of weeks, and so my goal is to continue to do the live streams. Obviously, it won't be here on the beautiful beach, but wherever it is that I'm going, whether it's in New York or on the West Coast, I'll be on the West Coast for a little bit. And I plan on doing streams. It may not be on Sunday, but I, of course, let everybody know in the community section on my posts. We will, of course, the uploads won't stop. I'm going to continue to maintain that one video per week, even in my absence of being off island. I'll make sure that the uploads continue. Funkbringer, thank you so much, man. I always appreciate the red stripes, man. I always appreciate it. Thank you, Justin. Thank you for joining. Isaiah, thank you for joining. Thank you for hopping on. Yeah, Winthrop Car Service is my dad. Yep, that's right. And We'll be back here next week, though. We'll be back here. We'll be back here next week, same time. Actually, yeah, we will be. I'm doing a collab next week, which I'm excited to share with you. I don't want to say too much who it is and what we're doing, but we're doing a collab with another popular Jamaican YouTuber next weekend, and it's from your suggestions, also your connections as well, subscribers. You guys actually connected us, and making comments on their page, making comments on my page, and now we've made plans to get together and create some content together. And I'm excited to have them and have them here, and excited to be collaborating with them. So that's next weekend. And again, we'll be definitely doing a live stream no matter what next weekend. And that's it. We're going to go back to that view for you. Thank you all for joining. I will see you same time, same place next week. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. Always appreciate it. It helps. And I will see you on the podcast and the next episode of the Kingston Real Estate Series that I have going on. Thank you once again. Happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers out there. I know my mom is in the audience. Happy Mother's Day again, Mom. And I will see you all next week. Same time. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.